Okay, today I'm going to show you how to take your data from your walking stick virtual lab and turn it into a chart online. So, I've already taken my data from my worksheet and entered it onto the Bush data table that was shared with you on Google Classroom. And what I need to do now is to select the columns that I want to use to make my chart. To do this, I want to click in box A1, and while holding the mouse down, drag down to A6. Now I'm going to hold the control key so I can select another column and click in D1 and drag down to D6, G1 and click down to G6, and J1 and drag down to J6. Now there's two options of where to get your chart from. Either I can go right here on the ribbon, and when I hover over it, it says Insert Chart, or I can go up to the Insert tab, and by clicking it opens up another menu where Chart's an option. Either way, it's going to get you to the same next step. When I clicked on this, it's going to bring up recommended charts of what they think I should use based on the data that I've provided. I can also click over. Next to the Start tab, there's a tab that says Charts. And this will let me select for myself what chart I want to use. Notice as you go between the different types of charts, it changes what your graph looks like to give you an idea of how that would look if you chose to use that kind of chart. For today's information, we're going to go ahead and make a column chart, and we want the bars to be right next to each other. Now before you get too excited and think you're done, we do need to do some customizing of our chart. When I start my customization, the first thing is the title of my chart. Now we want to make sure that the title is descriptive of what the chart is showing, not just like walking sticks, because that doesn't tell us very much about what the chart is showing. So we might do surviving walking sticks in the bush environment through 5 generations. As I click away, it's going to update that on the chart to show me what that's going to look like. As I scroll down, I see other options. I can work on the legend by saying where I want it positioned on the screen. Maybe I like it better at the top or at the bottom. I'm going to keep it on the right side. I can work with the font and say how I want the words to look. I can also work on the background color. Maybe I prefer my chart to be on a light gray or on a black. Remember, if you make your background black, you probably need to go back up here and edit the colors that your words are written. I'll go back to white for now. As we scroll down, we can see that we have more options. The next category we come to is axis, and it tells us that we're currently working with the horizontal axis. The horizontal axis goes left to right along the bottom. I want to put a title on that axis to tell people what they're looking at. So maybe my title is Generations of Walking Sticks. As I click away, it's going to show me what that looks like. Maybe I don't want it to be italicized, but I do want it to be bolded. I can also decide whether I want my labels slanted, or if I want them side to side, or if I want the computer to decide what's best. Before I move on, I need to remember that I also have a vertical axis. So by going up to axis again and clicking over, I can do the left vertical side. I need to think about what those numbers are representing, and I remember that those are representing the surviving walking sticks. I can decide how big I want that side to be. So I could go from 0 to maybe 30. The major grid lines are going to be the ones labeled along the side. So right now my major grid lines are 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30. And I might want to make those a darker color so that they're more easily seen. My minor grid lines are going to come in between those. If I want there to be one every one, the minor grid lines need to be 4 because the minor number here tells you how many minors come between the majors. So I would need a line for 1, 2, 3, 4, and then line 5 is going to be a major. And maybe I want those to be a little bit lighter. Scrolling down, I can now work on each series. Each series is shown in the key or legend over on the side. The series here is also a drop-down menu, so I can work on each one individually. So the first series I get to is brown. I might want to change that so that it matches. The next series is green-brown. There's not really a great color for that, so maybe I'll make it something totally different and go blue. And the last series is green, so maybe I'll switch that up and actually make it the color it's representing. Maybe I like a bright green better. That's it. You've just created a chart on Google Charts. So we're going to go ahead and insert that. And when I insert it, it puts it right onto that page that I've been working on. I can use my scroll bar down here and scroll over to see it. You'll notice it says to click on the area of the chart you want to edit. If I notice like, oops, walking stick is a compound word, I can click on that and just like a text box, I can edit it. And then when I click away, let's try that again. Walking sticks, click enter to apply, and it fixes it up. When you're done, you'll want to click the I, and that just takes you into move or view mode, and you can move it around. For the sake of our graph, it's easiest if we put it on a new page. So if I click the down triangle over here, I can go ahead and move to Own Sheet, and it creates a new tab at the bottom. Yours will probably be labeled Chart 1, where it's moved our graph to. So here we have our data table that we can see, and if we want to see what that looks like in graph form, I can click over to Chart. We can rename that tab by right-clicking and saying Rename, and then we can call it whatever you want. So maybe Graph of Bush Data. That's how to take your information from your walking stick lab and turn it into a chart. The same process can be used for any data table that you create on Google Spreadsheets. Pretty cool how the computer does a whole bunch of work for you.